See, so India, you can see that the shift, the drastic shift we could see after the split of Congress, after the fourth general elections. So what I tell all my students is, I've already been telling my students is that 1967 in Indian politics is a crucial, like, turning point. Like there would be a turning point in every human's life, right? So that 1967 is what our Indian politics have got. So 1967, after 1967, Congress split, then emergency have come into picture, then elections, then re-elections, then coalition governments for the first time have started coming into picture. Till date, we did not have coalition politics because the majority party Congress dominance was there and they were able to get into power. But later, the 1967 beautifully, or it is for the good or it is for the worst, uh, it has changed the political structure, like the face of Indian politics. So that's how we are going to read coalition politics in India. So it's like we all know it's a multi-party system. Just like I've given example of USA and UK, you should have understood like us the multi-party system now. But it was not always like this. Before 1967, from 1952 to 1967, India is always single party dominance. Like we literally had Congress monopoly. So the Congress monopoly, because there were not much parties and Congress was exerting its dominance through the majority dominance, and many of the people were voting for Congress only because they did not find any alternative, like any strong alternative. It doesn't mean that there were not other parties, but there were other parties, but these other parties were not as strong enough to form a government. Okay, so you should know that how important or how powerful like one becomes to form a government, right? So that's how the things. And this period saw 70s period saw rise of regional parties. It is a boon for regional representation. So the people have started coming out and asking outright questions like why? So do you represent me in center, then I'll vote for you. If you don't represent my sentiments, if you don't respect my values enough, then I would not vote for you. I would find an alternative which actually represents me. So this outright expression of people has led for the regional parties coming into power and the coalition politics have started in India. So meaning of coalition is coalition, like the Latin or Italian Latin word probably, and the coalition government is that government which is formed by different political parties which come together without losing their identity. Now, what happens in coalition government? Now, imagine that the government has a certain criteria to be formed, right? So, one party did not get that majority to form a government. Now, what it will do is like it will take help of other party who is interested, who is similarly aligned for the cause. Without dropping their ideology, they will come together and form a government. So, with sharing of ministries, with sharing of policies, and addressing their manifestos. It doesn't mean that if you're forming a party, you are losing your identity. You will represent yourself separately, but you still be formed as a group to address those issues. So it is found in several countries like Europe, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And India has seen in the later early 70s. And pre-independent period, era of coalition has become a vogue after 1996. So what? Now what is this 1996? 1996, after liberalization, after PV Narasimha Rao government, and it was in 1996, the coalition party has been formed under Atal Bihari Vajpayee Prime Ministership, but it did not stay for too long, more than 2 years. So immediately after that, it's in 1998 that NDA won, National Democratic Alliance won under the Prime Ministership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and with the cooperation of various regional parties, they have established power, the undefeatable power, the stable government, which ran for 5 years. Later, next comes UPA 1, United Progressive Alliance. It is formed by Congress as a majority party under prime ministership of late Dr. Manmohan Singh. Then next comes another UPA 2, which 2009 to 2014, it has formed the another Congress majority with the coalition from the regional parties. So it was also successful and stable government. Then it was again in 2014 to 2020, uh, until 2020, 2014 and 2019, like the 5 year terms. The BJP, National NDA 1, NDA 2, BJP was able to achieve majority. So it was again not the era of coalition politics, I could say. So that's why has become a vogue or a concept. Look, so we can see it in UP and NDA. And Telugu Desam Party was in NDA in 2014 general elections. And you can see TDP is still in NDA after 2020, in 2024 also, alongside Nitish Kumar. And with these two parties coming into picture, then in BJP was able to form a government. So now the current the government at the center is a coalition government. So it did not get the majority as expected as in 2014 or 19. I hope you are aware of this news. The next comes characteristics of coalition politics. So what happens if any political parties get into this coalition and what could be their ideology? So their formation, not government of a single party, definitely yes, because various parties will come into picture and form a government. So it's not government of one party, but rather the ministries, the policy making decisions are divided among the parties that are. So this could be seen like how do I know that my party, if I form a coalition with another party, I would be getting that ministry. So this can be seen in pre-poll alliance and post-poll alliance. So pre-poll alliance, what happens is it is a joining. I'm sorry, I accidentally muted. సో పోల్ అలయన్సెస్ సో పోల్ అలయన్సెస్ లో ముందే చేసుకుంటారనమాట సో నౌ వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ పోల్ అలయన్స్ ఎయిదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ బిఫోర్ ది ఎలక్షన్స్ ఆర్ ఆఫ్టర్ ది ఎలక్షన్స్ సో బిఫోర్ ది ఎలక్షన్స్ I'll always sit with my party whom I'm gonna join hands with after we get majority. So the in this the ministries, the decision making power, all these things would already be spoken about earlier only. Then post-poll alliance is something interesting that immediately that you don't know that you're not going to get the majority. Now imagine you're not going to get the majority and you have to uh, align with some party to form a government. So now you don't know what to do. So immediately after the results, you'll call and you say that let's form a government together. And there could be little discrepancies among this post-poll alliance. So what happens in post-poll alliance is post-poll alliance means poll after once the poll is done, result is out and declared winners. Then after that, these alliances will be formed in order to form a get a majority. So that's how the things go on. So the joining and parting. Political parties in coalition come together under certain circumstances. So parties are free to join. Parties are free to exist. So free to join means I'll join in. Of course, there's horse trading there. Like what it is in it for me. This mentality of parties. If of course, because what it is in it for me. Do my party members, elected representatives are going to get ministries, or do I get important policy decision making powers or like these things go on and they have no rigid stand. Let's suppose there's a coalition government and imagine a coalition government passing a bill or scrapping 370 a day. So that would have not been possible because the ideologies of political parties are not kept aside. You should understand the main um original criteria. So, as I have not given up my ideology, I would not support you in that strong amendment. So I will exit. So this would be the mentality of the parties. So it's not simply exiting from the bill, it's exiting from the government. Then government will fall. It will lead to instability. It will lead to democracy disruption. Now this can see as a common minimum program or common minimum agenda. Then UPI and NDA adhere with common minimum program or agenda. They get support from outside. Okay, the UP and NDA had to receive support from outside because they were not able to form a government all by themselves because they did not get the majority expected by the houses. And nature of responsibility. Ministers in a coalition government, they are under the influence of their respective parties. So it's literally if there's an coalition government formed and minister is from BJP, sorry, minister is from TDP and another minister is from BJP, then this minister from TDP would abide by the rules and regulations of Chandrababu Naidu only. He would not listen to Prime Minister Modi. Then you can ask this question like, why? Why? Because we have read it in the earlier slide itself that forming a coalition doesn't mean I'm giving up my ideology of the party. I'm still my party member. Okay, I cannot be abide by you. Understood. So on any bill, if there's a compulsory bill that has to be passed, if not passed, the government would collapse. Let's suppose budget, annual statement, annual financial statement, and the coalition governments may the ministers would not vote yes because they form under coalition government and their party heads would have told them ki not to vote, they would definitely not vote because if they had voted on that, they would be dismissed from the house because of defecting from their party itself. So I hope you understood this trick. Then selection of leaders. So how it's always that how leaders are selected. So whatever the party that gets the highest majority votes in the coalition. So from that party only the prime minister is formed, and they get to have hold on many of the ministries. The other parties would, of course, will have a say, but not as strong as the party with the majority votes, right? Then demands and compromise. Coalition government is always under demands and compromise. Like I demand so and so. It's I want to um, what can we say, if I want to vote on this, so I cannot compromise my party ethics like that. This and selfish interests, like why do they form coalition? Like why would you expect a favor from anybody else in making a government? So they would expect something in return, right? So this return would be either like in terms of ministership, in terms of cash, or in terms of the power decisions, or like crucial place, giving crucial place in important policy making. So like that you can see. Then last is ministry, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So they formed the government from 1999 to 2004. So with more than 20 political parties. Imagine you, imagine if you are a class leader or CR. And imagine you handling all your classmates. You would be exhausted in an hour. Now imagine running a government with 20 different political parties, 20 different ideologies, and too many decision-making heads. And still it had the stability. So that's why they say, and it was very fragile that they could be dismissed at any point of time. So the government would fall at any point of time. So that's how delicate the coalition politics are. Also, the I mean, positive sides is that they represent everybody because they come from different regions, they come from different ideologies, they come from different geographical extension. They represent all the wide, diverse citizens. So, like it comes as the unity in diversity concept, but the negative side is as they are very diverse, it is very difficult to hold them together. Then Dr. Manmohan Singh government from 2004 to 2014, the UPA also had more than 10 parties. That is also very hectic. Now let us see like how the timeline had been there. So before the elections, we always had this Muslim League and Congress party, then Akali Dal. So all these things, then cabinet mission proposals, etc., etc. All this you might have read in Museum of Indian Constitution. Then next comes coalition governments after independence, like from 1967. As I've told you, 1967 is a crucial uh, flip point for Indian politics. So one party dominance at the center and at state, except states like Kerala. Then the National Congress Party dominated Indian political scene for some time of period. Congress secured majority seats with minority popular votes. So what is this majority seats with minority popular votes? Because the margin by which they won is has decreased. So they did not win with huge margin and not consolidated due to fragmentation. Then trends of coalition was actually represented by various political parties which opposed the Congress. So what happened from 1967 to 77? Opposition parties uh, they have consolidated this anti-Congress in their favor, and Congress could not meet the aspirations of the people, and this paved the way for the opposition parties. So what happened in this way? Congress did not meet the aspirations of the people, so they started to object the Congress. So the Congress could not meet the aspirations of the people, and the plurality of Indian political system led to the coalition governments. So in many states like Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, in Punjab, Rajasthan, and West Bengal. So this is how the coalition politics has evolved over a period. And the 283 out of 520 Lok Sabha seats it has won, and it became weaker in 1969 with the split of two groups, Congress R and Congress O. And this was because of support of CPI and DMK. The Indira Gandhi was able to form a government. And with the victory of Indo-Pak War in 1971, the Congress could secure an absolute majority at the center. But the despotic attitude that they call Mrs. Gandhi has affected the reputation of Congress. So what happened? People started losing uh, interest. People started to lose their faith in Congress, and they started looking to, you know, expand their features, sorry, expand their opinions and ideas to the other. So 1970, so after that, we have seen the what do we call emergency period. An emergency period తర్వాత elections were conducted in 1976 or 77. So in 77, what happened was the Congress lost very badly, and Janata Party was able to form government at the center, which is rather a coalition. Like it also did not get majority. So with other parties coming into like the coalition, they started forming. So who are these parties? Bharatiya Lokdal, Congress or Socialist and Johnson, they came together to be known as Janata Party. It's in a name itself, like Janata, People's Party, something like that. So as as also this party is by all these different political parties, but they still had this old their ideology which they should be abiding by. So the party could not abandon their old ideologies, and this led to split in the party itself. And it led politics by supporting Charan Singh, who headed Lokdal. Now, where did this Lokdal come from? So this Lokdal has come from Janata Party by splitting Janata Party. So there's other section of people who supported Charan Singh. So they did not possible while with the Janata Party in power. So it lost its stability, it lost its confidence. Now they asked for Charan Singh to form a government to show majority. Uh, but the Charan Singh once uh, also asked to provide a confidence on the house. Then Charan Singh also they stopped giving support. He lost no confidence motion. Confidence motion, no confidence motion is nothing but mathematical in Indian politics. So it's nothing but that the leader of the house should prove their majority. The leader of the house should prove their majority in the parliament or in any of the house. So if they not show that I have this much majority, that I have these many members, which forms majority, then I would not be allowed to form a government. So same thing. In fact, from Janata Party, this Lokdal has divided, split. And Lokdal said that chalo, let's make Charan Singh as our leader of the house and make him prime minister. Fine. Then immediately the moment he started, sorry, immediately he was asked to show majority in the house. Then people stopped giving him support. So government did not form. So it was again unstable government. So imagine the chaos that the India had during the emergency, and imagine the post-emergency chaos. So it was very difficult for the lawmakers and for the people. So that's why they were called as a dark age for Indian politics. Now, next, another election was conducted in 1980. Congress had got a absolute majority. But what happened is 84, so 80, from 80 to 84, we have had this Khalistan movement and Operation Blue Star. So sadly, Indira Gandhi was assassinated by one of the Khalistan chiefs. So, and sorry, the the supporter. And eight Lok Sabha elections were held in 1984. But Congress still won because the sympathy, because Gandhi was assassinated. So on sympathy base, it has won. And we all know that Indians are very sentimental. So they voted for Congress again. And Congress was formed at the center. Now imagine Congress coming into the power at the center and the state parties and the state people are very fairly represented. So what happens is Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh was able to show its strong power. So what it did was we are usually not represented, right? As our ideology, our feelings are not represented. So we want the people to come forward and like we want somebody else to come forward and say that like this is not how they want to be represented in the center. So from 1989 to 1996, they were and 96 to 1996, there's a target timeline that has been. Now what happens is 1989, political parties like Jan Morcha, Janata Party, and Lokdal, they have formed the National Front. So they have formed a national front and under the leadership of VP Singh, they have formed a government. So it also secured outside support to form government from BJP and left party also because the National Front was a three-pole alliance. So this three-pole alliance was unable to get the majority. So it was unable to get majority. So they went for post-pole alliance also where it was supported by BJP and it was supported by Lok Dal. So along with National Front, along with BJP and the Lok Dal, they have formed a government under the leadership of VP Singh. So and also left parties. So what happened? Although 1980, 1977, it was the coalition party, but not as strong. But this 1989 could be able to gain power. So BJP withdrew its support to this government, and as usual, there because the coalition politics was very unstable during those times, and replaced by Janata Dal under the leadership of Chandrasekhar with the support of Congress. So, but they also withdrew their. So the Chandrasekhar government was also not able to withhold the politics, the pressure, the internal pressure, the internal loyalty. So now what happened? 1991 general elections, there was no party that got majority. So it was like neck to neck competition between BJP and neck to neck competition between INC. So what happened was as the INC was there, so this is also a majority but also a minority in the house. Like although you got majority in comparison with the other political parties, but you are still a minority, right? With the number that's needed to be forming a party. So Indian National Congress under the leadership of PV Narasimha. And this era, LPG has come into picture. So what is LPG? What is LPG and who played a role? Hello, I need answers. So LPG, the crucial monopoly of the state government has gone, and license Raj have gone, and India has started globalized. And also 1991 saw what is the historical thing that has happened in 1991? Can anybody say? 1991 లో ఏమైంది in the world perspective, disintegration of Soviet Union. So after that, under PV Narasimha Rao, the minority Congress party has formed and it was able to withhold its power and continued office until 1996, but with various corruption allegations, various like it has undergone various tenures. What can we say? Very tenuous work for like crucial criticisms. So again, from 1996 to 2004, it was both Congress and non-Congress. So to oppose, to form a Congress party, United Front government was formed. It was basically formed as an opposition, like as an outcry to Congress dominance. So the United Front was formed and BJP has established its strong power. But the here also it's a minority government. So here neither Congress was able to gain power, a majority, neither BJP was able to get power. So 1996 have been formed mainly to oppose either Congressism or BJP. So if we look at until 1967, people were crying that there was only Congress dominance, Congress dominance. So 1997, people have given opportunity for the regional parties also to come into power. Okay, they formed a government and they were unstable governments. They could not be able to pass a single law, basic laws. So why? Because they had this ideological differences. They had this ego issues. They had their old loyalties. And BJP was formed, uh, and they had their old loyalties. Now what happens? Now it is neither Congress was able to get into power, nor BJP was get into power, but it was either only Congress or BJP that could get into power. Okay. So earlier it was one party dominance. Now it is two party dominance. So it was either if Congress is in power, then BJP would be in opposition. If BJP was in power, Congress would be in opposition. So it used to go like that. Then most of the countries of constituents of Ukraine, along with the left parties, I mean, it's a Congress and left alliances, and they came into power. And BJP was opposition because it was second largest. Now with the left and Congress combined, BJP would be second largest, so it would be an opposition party. Then in '96, what happened? Congress emerged as single largest party. Sorry, BJP emerged as the single largest party in '96, and Congress also secured 140 seats. So there's not much difference. 140, 160. Before also 225, 195. Like there was not much difference, hardly 10, 20 difference. So with this 10, 20 difference, what happens is the party could not be able to form a government. Now they have to uh, secure the government. Now the president will ask the first party, like single largest party, uh, to come and form a government by showing confidence. So in that way, BJP was asked to prove their majority on the house in the house. So it was under Vajpayee, and Congress could not get support of other parties as there was an anti-Congress. So BJP was able to form the government along with it was called as United Front. The United Front, the Janata Dal, CPI, Trinamool Congress, DMK, and Telugu Party. The United Front leader was Devi Gowda. National Front leader was who? So this is also important MCQ, BPC. So United Front leader, Mr. Devi Gowda, he became Prime Minister, and the Congress changed the leadership within United Front, and Mr. I.K. Gujral head the government. So this is another. Now Congress played against politics. Again, I.K. Gujral had to step down within 6 months. Then, then it led to what? Forming two coalition governments in 1996 and 1998. So it's either BJP or it's either Congress. So if Congress comes into power, then BJP plays its cards. Then if BJP comes into power, Congress plays its cards. So this is how the things have been going on. And if you are preparing for a competitive exams, then 1991 to 1998, how many governments are formed, how many parties, what all parties support who all should be considered. Okay, so keep a track of it, right? First Deve Gowda, then I.K. Gujral. So all these people, all these dignitaries have been named to be the prime minister for a very span, like hardly like 2 years, 6 months, etc. So that's how the things, that's why they were called unstable government. Next, 12th Lok Sabha election was conducted in 1998 and again a Honda Assembly. So BJP secured 82, 182, and its alliance was able to secure 253. So now they got into power under Vajpayee's leadership, and of course, with the support of then also TDP played a crucial role back in 1998, along with TDP and the Trinamool Congress. So they formed an alliance, coalition politics, and they adopted national agenda for governance. But AIADMK withdrew its support, and this this 1998 assembly was unable to have majority because AIADMK withdrew its support. So no majority means no confidence. So again, it had to lose. Uh, what do we call it? majority and it's also lost power, like one vote. So this is imagine losing the power and making an unstable government just by one vote. I know, right? So new dimension of coalition politics have come into picture in 1999 elections. So what happened in this election is NDA under BJP as a majority party with the 23 other political parties have come into picture. So Congress was not able to adapt to such systemic alliance formation because Congress has been struggling earlier after PV Narasimha Rao era because that PV Narasimha Rao government was also minority government, right? So the Congress failed at structural organization. So this structural organization was tackled by BJP. So that's how the India was successful. And 1999, they have a comfortable majority because they lost power with one vote, while AIDMK withdrew its support. So they know how to form a government. I mean, they've learned it hard way in 1999 that less difference should not be the point. We have to have a comfortable majority. So that's how they were able to succeed until 2004. So 2004 and 2019 also saw coalition governments. Okay. So by UPA 1, UPA 2, NDA 1, then NDA 2. In 2024, till present, it's again a coalition government of NDA with TDP and Janata Dal. Sorry, 2014 and 19, BJP was single largest. So it was not a coalition. So it got superior majority to form a government by itself. So 2024, again, it had to take the support of NDA with TDP and Janata Dal. So I hope I'm audible, right? So now what this bipolarity have existed. Like we have come from an era of single party dominance to bipolarity. Uh, and this bipolarity is either INC or BJP. So they are clear shot divided in the ideology. It's like we have seen the notion of what we call the bipolar parties or two party structure in USA. So this doesn't work for a country like India. We represent various diversities. We want to be represented our sentiments, our state sentiments, our feelings, etc. But we cannot expect just two ideologies to be running the government or to be running the country. So that's a backdrop. But when there were too many ideologies involved, they were unable to achieve that majority. So they were not able to achieve that stability. So governments were falling off very drastically. Like if we go by the Telugu word, పేక మేడలు లాగా పడిపోతుంది, like the domino effect. So if you flip one domino, it will lead to all the dominoes falling, right? So like that, the parties have been erratic before. So 98, it had two groups, Congress, non-Congress, or BJP or non-BJP. In 98, BJP or non-BJP, non-Congress. Then BJP and non-BJP basically formed on the notion of nationalism and secularism. And it is either anti-Congressism or anti-BJP. So imagine, like in the previous slide, we have seen it was either Congress or non-Congress. Okay, it was non-BJP and non-Congress. Now it is anti-Congress and anti-BJP. Okay, how the perspectives of people or how the perspectives of Indian nation politics have changed very beautifully with the various parties, ideologies that have come into picture. And of course, these two parties being in power and the majority, there's a space for the third ideology to be implemented, which could be called as a third front, like we have seen last time. Even the TRS party had to change its name to BRS in order to be included as in the third front. So that's how the regional parties have played their role or trying to play their role in national politics. So this is how the ideologies or the rise of political parties have had their influence both at the center and the state. So like this last two slides, they let you understand how the perception of people have changed. Okay, so it was Congress party, non-Congress party, then non-BJP, non-Congress, then Congress, non-BJP, non-anti-Congress, and anti-BJP. So imagine how beautifully the politics have evolved to be our understanding among the people. The perception of the people have changed. So they've started to come out from the viewpoint of thinking from keeping Congress at the center, and like Congress would be at the center and the rest of the parties would be at the centerpiece. They have removed that notion to keeping two parties at the center and the rest of the parties at the centerpiece. So that's how the evolution of the perspectives of Indian politics or analyzing policies have like two-point view have come into picture. So I hope you are all oh, you're all okay with this thing or understood thing. So important questions would be like they would either ask you like define coalition, what is a coalition politics, and the timeline of or positives and negatives of coalition politics or criticisms of coalition politics. So while writing this, also they might ask the how India has evolved to have the coalition politics as a center, and like you have to write the timeline, like timeline that I've mentioned here. Like timeline, if you keep writing it, then in a way it will help you understand or help the examiner to know that uh, you have defined the coalition politics from timeline, like by keeping timeline. Then you can write how India has uh, explain how India has predominantly changed from one party dominance to two party bipolarity politics. Then again, you have to write all this timeline. You have to explain coalition politics. You have to explain the social reasons at the state level and identity perspectives at the state level that made people to shift their viewpoint from Congress elites to the non-elites to the local representation. So in a way, you have to explain things as such. So I hope everybody is clear with the concept today. So if it's yes, then we can leave. So I hope you are all okay with the concepts. Yeah, good. So I hope you go through the lecture, then the slides to understand or keep a timeline, like put date, and then Pakana, you can write who all formed the government and who were parties at the center who supported the coalition and which BJP or Congress could gain power like that. If you write, you can understand this. Keep write it on a paper, post it on your wall. Then ask me how you're not gonna remember. Okay, so like that you have to. So like that you have to understand. So I hope it's okay. So then we'll meet tomorrow again for another session. So see you all.